Hi, this is Mr. Capert. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a graph, a table, and find the equation of your best fit line for a Mangonel. So first step is to collect your data, which should be put into this table, which lines up perfectly with the table you're going to create in Desmos. You should have used Desmos in algebra earlier this year. Now notice I only have 3 launches. You should have 10. I didn't want people to copy my work. Make sure you don't copy these numbers. Use your data when you go to create this in Desmos. So the first step will be to go to Desmos. And then when you're there, Math Tools, Graphing Calculator. You're then going to hit the plus symbol on the left here, hit Table, and start entering your data. Once again, this is your data. Do not copy me, and you should have 10 rows of data, unlike my 3. So put your X values, which in this case is the amount of stretch of your spring in centimeters, and then put the distance that you measured out in the hallway in feet as your Y values. And then what you want to do is click below here, or you can hit the plus also and do expression, but you can just click here, and then this is a quadratic equation actually. So you're going to enter y1 approximately equal to, so that's on the upper left of a keyboard. You hit shift, it's that symbol. So look for that on your keyboard. You can't put equals or this won't work. And then AX1, and then the caret symbol, which is shift 6 on a keyboard. It looks like, they call it a caret. It's like an up arrow kind of, a small up arrow. So normally shift 6 gets you that, and that'll put you up where you can do a square root. So make sure, sometimes you got to zoom in, zoom to fit. And notice for my data, this makes sense because it goes through one of my data points actually, and then it kind of splits the difference between the other two. Once again, you should have more up here. Just make sure they kind of straddle this line. If they're really far off, then you might want to redo that throw. You could possibly even delete it, because if you have one that's way off here, for instance, it would throw off your graph, your equation. So now that you have this, what you're going to want to do is take a screenshot, make sure it's kind of in this form here. Oh, actually, I want you to label your graph, and I said in Notability. Another way is to label it here. So you could do that spring stretch, or like length of spring stretch. And then your y-axis is like distance thrown, feet. Should always put units. I didn't do that up here. That's in centimeters. Boom. So screenshot this and put this into the worksheet and Notability. Also, I recommend adding the title. You can't do this in Desmos. Distance versus length of spring stretch at the top of it. You're then going to substitute all these values that Desmos calculated for you. So for Y1, plug in D, that's your distance. For A, plug in the A that it calculated for you under parameters. So just plug in that number. For X1, plug in the delta X spring. This is the change in length of the spring. And then remember that is squared if you look at your data from Desmos. And then the last step will be to rearrange this to solve for the spring stretch. You are going to use this equation to attack the castle. I'll tell you a distance, you'll plug it in, and you'll know how much to stretch your spring by. What you want to do, though, is always test your equation. So insert, whatever number, but I think 20 feet's a good one. Put 20 feet into this equation, and just make sure that it makes sense what you end up getting for that. Let me know if you have any questions. Perfect timing.